Life is just doing the same things over and over again, isn't it? Look at us go to school, then going back home, sometimes reading manga you like. Our story starts with a similar girl sitting on the bus, immersed in deep thoughts. Tomorrow will be the same thing. Or so I thought. Her mother says, Omi, I've got another long work trip coming up. You'll be staying over with our neighbors, the Hyroas, for a while, huh? She wonders. Sayama Omi, 16 years old. Her ordinary, everyday life is starting to collapse. I can take care of myself, I said. Don't just go roping others into our problems. She leaves the room, saying that harshly. They will be taking care of you. That's what she said. She waved her hand over the name tag before. The Hyroi house. She remembers her past self sitting at the door of their house, while a young, charming man comes and says, What? Did you forget your key? You must be cold. Why don't you come hang out at my place until your mom comes back? Sho-chan. Wasn't he supposed to be back home right now? She thought. He was kind, earnest. He used to talk to me so much. The boy next door who's 8 years older than me. Ever since I heard he left home for college, I never had the chance to see him. Not even once. I can't believe that I'm going to reunite with Sho-chan like this. Her hands tremble while reaching for the bell of the house. This is just like a manga, she blushes. She was way too excited in her mind, thinking, it feels like something's about to start. And the bell rings. Ding dong. I wonder what Sho-chan looks like as an adult. A stylish salaryman? Ah, but he said he liked art. Maybe a creator of something. Suddenly, the speaker speaks in a mechanical voice. Yes. She thinks to herself, that doesn't sound like Andy's voice. She speaks aloud, Amitsayama. The reply comes from the machine. Huh. Oh, wait a sec. I'm opening it now. Wait. Was that Sho-chan just now? She thinks. No way. Suddenly, I need more time to prepare. Suddenly, the voice comes. Omi-chan. And suddenly a grown-up weird man appears. Well, long time no see. See you gotten bigger, huh? And Omi was shocked. Huh? The guy yawns. Mom and the others are out shopping. You can come in for now. She starts thinking. Dyed blonde hair, cat ears damage, baggy clothes, hunched back. My precious memories, they're all. He just vanished. Already carried the big luggage to the room. Just to make sure. You're Omi-chan, right? He asked with bold eyes. Suddenly she waves her hand and says, I have the wrong house. He replies, Omi-chan, where are you going? Omi-chan. Later, his mother regrets and apologizes. Oh no, did I make you wait? I thought you would come a little later. So, I am sorry. Shouya, you need to put yourself together. You should just be glad I'm awake, he replies. Geez, so this is really Sho-chan? She thinks in her mind. I'll be in your care for a little while. She bows her head towards his mother. No need to be so formal. Just be your usual self, she replies. If anything is not to your liking, tell us right away. The girl replies, thank you. She takes a look at Shouya and shuffles a little, keeping an emotional distance. What's up with the distance? He asks. No, it's nothing. Share price. He's practically a different person now. I don't know how to act around him. Oh, have you two not seen each other in a while? It's surprising to see her like this, his mother says. Believe it or not, he's a manga artist now. Totally embarrassed hearing this, he tries to cover his mom's mouth. Saying, hold on. While she continues, I don't want you to think it's weird, but she cuts in and asks, really? Amazing, she says. No, probably a lot different than what you are imagining, he says. I read a lot of manga too, so I don't think it's about being popular or anything like that. The ability to entertain someone you don't even know, I think it's really amazing, she replies that he gets a quiver in his body. Look, Mom, Shouya is crying. From behind, his dad says, I'm not crying. Something got in my eye. You were just so happy, weren't you? His mother says. I'll take that. Thanks, he says while being totally embarrassed. Is he embarrassed? She thinks. He's different from my memories and imagination. All right then, for dinner tonight, let's have a luxurious barbecue with some good meat, his mother proposes. Oh, meat, huh? Grown-up Sho-chan feels like a complete stranger. At dinner time, they were making eggs. Thanks for the eggs, Omi-chan. You can leave the rest to me. Do you mind waking up Shouya? Understood, she says. Breakfast is ready, Shouya-chan. The sound comes from the room. No, ouch. Over again, she thinks, I've been observing Shouchan for the past few days, and he is in sweats all day long, scratching his belly. Well, speaking, I'm starving. Go out. Whenever I see him, he's always passed out. And she remembers whenever she asks, "Hey, Shouchan, about your manga," he replies with a strange glare. Absolutely zero chance. I'm telling you. She thinks he's really shy about it. I wonder if it's that embarrassing to have people know about your own manga. Morning. Shouchan comes out of the room, done on the dinner table. His mom says, "Oh my, did you stay up late again?" "Was helping a friend with their manuscript," he replies. "Right before the deadline." Only exaggerates. That's what they call crunch time, huh? Shocked and wondering, why is she staring so much? I guess even when you're living together, you don't really know what their work is like, she thinks to herself. I wonder if I could help out when Shouchan is chasing a deadline. Nah, based on his reaction, that's impossible. Ask him to help him for his manga, he replies. I'm busy with work. Your work is cool. Well, that makes sense. I wonder what kind of story he's drawing. If it's a shounen manga, maybe action? There seem to be more adult titles lately too. What if it's something like a rom-com? Shouchan was always smiling, and he always cheered me up. We have group work next, right? Go talk. Right next to her, she was sitting in her school while she notices some dudes talking. She doesn't pay attention and thinks, I bet it's a kind story just like him. After school, she comes home and is greeted by his mother. Welcome home, Umi-chan. You're early today. You can eat the snacks in the living room. Okay? I took one myself. Okay, she replies. Snacky snacks. She went to the room thinking. But certainly she saw Shouya. Ah, Shouchan. Did you eat the snacks already? Your mom just now. Shouchan? He is asleep. Looking at him now, his face looks somewhat like before. He always looked sleepy even when he was awake. She speaks while poking him. Shouchan, wake up. You'll hurt your neck. At least lie on your own. And suddenly she notices the manga he is working on and a page of it. And Shouya wakes up. Huh, Umi-chan. Huh. The manga fell from his hand. He screams, Hey, they! Hiding the manga behind his back. You didn't see anything, right? She gets totally defensive, steps back and asks, Why are you reading an adult comic? She's super creeped out, he thinks to himself. In the living room of all places. Do you have no shame? Wait, you were wrong. Well, not entirely, but I am reviewing my work. My own. Your own, she asked. So that means he realizes he messed up? Umi was in total shock. He drew that. In other words, her image of Shouya was totally shattered. With cold eyes, she stares at him. Umi-chan, what's with your expression? He screams. I request that you kindly keep your distance. She steps back and said, Formal speech. He shouts with shock. Please behave appropriately, she continues. What do you mean by that? He further queries. Please refrain from looking at me like that, she asked. Such prejudice. I told you I wasn't looking, she shouts. Before you were more earnest, stood up straight. Someone who wouldn't do something they'd feel guilty for. You're not the Shouchan I knew. He gasps and says, You told me it was amazing that I draw manga. I was so glad. Honestly, it probably doesn't look embarrassing from the outside. I can't really show it to anyone but adults. I even thought people might be put off by it, but this is who I am now, working hard on drawing that stuff. Tears fell down from his eyes. She gasps. She was about to try to comfort him, but suddenly he speaks. You are a dummy. Without any contextual data of what just happened. Umi stares. Sudden jolt. He shouts. What's wrong with erotic stuff? You blockhead. He runs towards his room and closes it. Umi just stands there, raising her hand trying to stop him, saying, Shouchan. But his words echo in her mind. This is who I am now. What am I doing? I also different from back then. It's been 7 years. It's normal for appearances and ways of thinking to change. And yet I kept clinging to my memories and selfishly expected Shouchan to stay the same. I acted hypocritically. Me lashing out, did he take a bath? His father asked. I wonder if he's skipping his bath again. His mother says, It's already 11 o'clock. Time for me to go to bed. In that case, could you call out to Shouya for me? He's been holed up in his room since dinner. That gave a jolt to Umi. Really? The reason why he's not coming out is likely my fault, she says. So good night. Suddenly, the sound comes from his room. shocking Umi. He ran away, his mother thinks. You can just ignore him. The two of you did look like you were talking earlier. Did you have a fight with Shouya? It wasn't really a fight, she speaks, squeezing her hand. Found out that Shouchan draws adult manga. It surprised me. I guess now you know. Sorry about that. Are you starting to dislike Shouya? You can be honest with me. She shakes her head. That's not it. In my heart, I hadn't quite accepted the current Shouchan. I forced my idea of him from before. I said unfair things to him. I never meant to discredit all the hard work he was doing. I ended up hurting Shouchan. What should I do? She bows her head. His mother speaks. Umi-chan, it's okay. I had a similar quarrel with him once. This is the second time. Oh well, huh? She gasps. He used to draw normal manga at first, so I was surprised too. In the end, he talked back while sobbing, so I just had a laugh. Is Shouchan a crybaby? She asks, sniffing. He's still a kid, you know, his mother says. But no matter what anyone says, he'll continue what he's doing. I have come full circle now, and I want to support him. This is a selfish request, but you don't have to understand everything. Could you please try to get to know who Shouya is now? While standing in front of his room, Umi, holding pancakes in her hand, thinks, I apologize properly. I want to escape into my memories. I'm going to face the current Shouchan properly. She knocks on the door. Knock, knock. Shouchan, I brought you a late-night snack. She notices his door is open. She pushes it slightly and sees him sitting, holding his pen in his hand, sitting straight upright, ready to draw manga. She takes a look at him working in the panel he was making. He looks at his right, notices Umi, and was totally scared. What? You scared me, he speaks. Sorry, she replies. I knocked at the door. There was no answer, so he stands up and says, Wait, really? I was playing music, so I didn't notice. He replies with flattering. He turns off his drawing tablet. You have a bent back, she says. He gasps. Huh. It happened from drawing manga before I realized. He scratches his face. I know it's bad for my body, though. So that just means you have been giving it your all, right? I'm really sorry, she says. Earlier I got surprised and took it out on you, but because of that it seemed like I was rejecting what you do. That's why. I'm sorry. Then he speaks. Umi-chan. About that, I'm sorry too. I was careless about managing my adult-oriented stuff and showing you such pathetic behavior for an adult. She glooms. It's okay. Shouchan's pretty sensitive. Huh. She thinks that he smiles boldly and says, Well then, let's say we made up with this. And with that smile, she saw a faint resemblance of him with his past self. It's already so late, Umi-chan, so you should probably get to bed soon, he says. Then he realizes, late at night in a guy's room with a bed. He exclaims with a jolt, a girl isn't supposed to be in a guy's room. She exclaims too, you just realized? You said you wouldn't look at me in that way. Back out of the room saying, that's completely different. Please leave. Wait, Shouchan. She was trying to stop him, but he just shut the door. Comes from behind the door. Sorry if I was touching you weirdly just now. She turns around and says, that's not the point. But the sound from back comes yet again. Thank you for the snacks too. Then she comes to the door and speaks. Shouchan, for you in your work, do your best. When I said that earlier, I was amazed. I wasn't lying. Her words gave a warm sensation to his heart, making his lips go up and giving a smile that he speaks. Absolute best. Take it easy. Good night. Good night, she replies. A completely different person. But he has the same smile, she thinks. Even my repetitive days will change, but just for a little while. I thought maybe that isn't so bad. In the school's hallway, students were approaching the cafeteria, which stores the delicious food. A sweet girl appears, thinking to herself, oh, she picked some omelets. Nice. Then she prays to God. Thanks for the food. Because of my mother's long-term business trip, I, Umi Sayama, started living with my neighbors, the Hyrois, for the time being. She was thinking Shouya Hyroi is the one I often played with when I was little. Now that we've grown up, he is entirely different from the Shouchan I once knew. She pictures Shouya's past self versus his current self and denies having to accept his current personality. She yells in her mind, Who the hell are you? She continues thinking, he changed so drastically that I was left completely stunned, but bite in her mouth, she thinks, It's been a relatively peaceful cohabitation so far, and it tastes slightly like dashi stock. She opens her eyes and looks up straight, making eye contact with a girl sitting in front of her. With the instant speed of thunder, she turns around, totally nervous and embarrassed. She says in her mind, "Our eyes met. Didn't I tell you not to stare at people?" Her friend beside her says, not really understanding the situation, "Didn't really." She lowers her head as if in deep thought and just admires the food, saying, "Yum." After school, she reaches the Hiroi residence. "Welcome back." Sho greets Umi, on which Umi was a bit flustered. She says, "Huh, Shouya? Didn't you say you'd be cooped up in your room all day today?" He replies, "Today hasn't been going my way." She thinks to herself, looks like he didn't make any progress." His mother says, "Aren't you always having a bad day though, Shouya?" He replies, "You have no clue, Mom, just how menacing a blank page can feel." She replies with cold eyes, "Just quit if you want to take it easy." And in this argument, Shouya loses and his mom wins. Just then, Umi thinks to herself, "I'm kind of starting to have fun watching Shouya-chan like this." His mother continues, "Umi-chan, can you take out your lunchbox for me?" "Ah, yes," she replies. Today's lunch was delicious as always, especially the omelets. To hear the compliment, she replies, "Really? I'm so glad. It makes me so happy to hear you say that. A certain someone could learn a thing or two from you." Having a hunch of what she was referring to, Umi turns to Shouya. But in order to save himself from embarrassment, he turns his head again to his mother and says, "Sorry for not being so upfront about it." Umi says, "It tasted slightly different than ours. It was a new experience." His mother asked, "So was it that different from yours?" "Yes, our omelets are sweet," she replied. "So they're like the eggs in sushi." She wonders. This reminds me. I heard his family also makes it sweet." "I know, right? Every household has their own way of making it," she continues. "What about your friends, Umi-chan? Is there any kind of omelet that takes the top spot?" She thinks to herself, "Let's hear what modern high school girls go for." "Gasp, huh? My friends." But then Shouya cuts in, "Wouldn't kids these days talk more about what's on their social media than what they're having for lunch?" Hearing this, being struck by lightning, his mother exclaims in wonder, "No way. How can anyone resist asking their friends what they're having for lunch?" Hearing this, Umi was relieved. She stands up and says, "I'll go change real quick." And his mother looks a bit confused from her behavior. When it comes to the topic of friends, his mother says, "Now that I think about it, I don't really know much about Umi-chan's school life. I'm a bit worried." She continues, "Well, she's also at a delicate age." Around, weaving his hands, saying, "I'm going back to my room too." His mother reminds him, "Don't forget to come down for dinner, all right?" He says, "Yeah, yeah." At her room, lying flat on the bed with her face covered with her right hand, she thinks to herself, "Did I make things awkward for them? I should have just acted normal. I'm not bothered by my lack of friends. Instead, what does bother me is the fact that I might be worrying them, even though I'm perfectly fine like this. I surely don't like the way they look at me, though." And she remembers her friend staring at her with that hideous, mischievous face, picturing that makes her heartbeat louder. Throb, throb. She continues thinking, I just ignore them if they tell me to meet behind the gymnasium. It's not like I'm doing something bad anyway. I'm fine with things staying like this." Thinking that, she was about to open the door, but as soon as she opens it, on her left she notices a pile of books, or rather a huge stack of them. In total astonishment, she exclaims, "What's all this?" Shouya comes out from his room and says, "You came out," adding this to the pile too, on which she asks, "Wait, just too much, what's going on?" He replies, "These are my recommendations. They're short story collections. It doesn't hurt to have a bunch of topics to discuss, right? Besides, your friends might be reading some of these too." She thinks to herself, "He sucks at being subtle." Making a weird face, she says, "I kind of got the picture. Go ahead, you can ask about it." "Oh, sorry then." Without further ado, "Do you have any friends?" he asked with a straight face. He couldn't have been more direct. Well, having this conversation, both bend their knees to sit on the ground. And reaching a hand at the top of the stack, Umi replies, "I don't, and I'm fine without them." He asked, "Are you being bullied?" No, no, that's not at all, she replies. That's good then. Thankfully, I've never had troubles with friends, so I'm not sure how I could be of any help here. On which she says, I see. I always figured you'd have a lot of friends, Shochan. I just got lucky. I found guys I could share my interests with. He replies that, on which she says, I don't really have anything interesting to share, though. Her expression was totally cold. With a shudder, he says, and that's why I bought you all this stuff. You don't have to if you don't want to, but maybe making a few friends wouldn't be so bad. She thinks, is that so? Meanwhile, he continues speaking, let's fish for some friends. Talking about manga is really fun, you know? He seems really energetic. She, without being so hopeful, replies, I mean, sure, but that's only if we happen to like the same manga, right? He asks curiously, which one do you like? She replies, stuff like Love Demi. Lately I've been hooked on Yudu and Subaru. And she continues naming some. Shouya, in a professional tone, says, I'm personally a fan of Erasure and Love Demi, you know. The backstory was really cool. I know, right? The crying face that one time was so touching that. And they start talking about all those manga stuff, laughing together. And these two look pretty cute while laughing. And suddenly she gasps. What am I even doing right now? Meanwhile, Shouya, with a bright, energetic face, says, color me surprised. You could be a chatterbox if you want to, Umi-chan. If you don't really hate talking in the first place, I'm fairly sure you can make some friends in no time if the chance presents itself. She replies, denying, it's not like I really want to make friends anyway. Do you in the end, though? He replies, but just so you know, I've always had a lot of fun talking with you, Umi-chan. Both now and in the past. Both of them look into each other's eyes. While standing up on his feet, Shouya says, I think it's kind of shame that not many people know about this side of you, Umi-chan. And again, waving his hand, he says, just leave any manga you're not interested in over there. I'll come pick them up later. See ya. And he closes the door. Tio speak very softly. Oh, sure. Talk, huh? Which reminds me, but I never talk to them, so I have no idea what they're thinking. And it's true that I don't really hate talking. It's so fun. The designs are on the heavier side, and it leans a lot on wordplay, but the self-defense parts are explained well, and most importantly, it's easy to follow. She speaks all that while reading a page of the manga in which the characters were seeming to do some actions. Next morning in school. Meanwhile, walking to the doorway, she continues reading the manga and thinks to herself, I should have brought more volumes with me. Maybe there's an ebook version I can. And suddenly the girl who was staring at her the previous day bumps into her and notices the book she was reading, exclaiming in total wonder, what a powerful double take. He tries to reach out. Meanwhile, his friends from behind try to stop him. Oh, wait. But Umi seems to be lost in her reading. She continues to read. Hirakayan? Letting them run away when your falter is important. I see. Sayama-san's voice reaches her ears. She looks up at that girl. Ah, from yesterday. And thinks to herself, is she looking fortified? Just so you know, I've been dabbling in self-defense lately. Okay. In her mind, trying to take a stance to be ready for any situation. Now she got cold feet. But the same condition was with that other girl. She was trembling with fear too. Sir, she tries to speak out, and loudly yells, Sayama-san, do you also like that manga? Hearing that, being struck with a jolt, both of their hearts started beating. Bam, bam, bam. She thinks to herself, what? I also read that manga. And since it's a bit old, there aren't many people who know about it. The other girl continues, it made me so happy to see you reading it, Sama-san. On which she replies, I see. She thinks to herself, it really worked. The girl asked, how far into the story are you? I'm on volume 3, Shiplights. Oh, so that means Tadako's rival showed up already. I really liked her. You mean that Sundara? She asks. Yup, she's just the cutest. Every time she looks so strong at first, but the fact she can only throw pathetic punches just makes me want to protect her. Character, Sama-san, she replies. I like the protagonist, I guess. Even though he is so burly, he always ends up getting caught before Tadako. What's up with him? I so get you. He's more of a heroine than the heroine herself, right? Having a normal conversation, she is having fun too. She thinks to herself, And the other girl was really seeming to be enjoying this. She was having fun. Ah ha ha, if that's what you like. Wait until volume 8. He almost turns into a princess. But Umi continues thinking, I always assumed people hate me. Girl gasps, sorry about that. I just started rambling on my own here. She replies, it's fine. Besides, I haven't talked with a classmate in a while, so it's kind of refreshing. Thank you, Tairagi-san. And suddenly a breeze of utter silence flew through the class. Everyone's staring at the two of them. And then she repeats, Tairagi-san. Completely overwhelmed by her kindness, Tairagi starts crying and wobbling, saying, thank you so much. She's crying. Umi yells. She thinks to herself, could it be that it was just my misunderstanding all along? Then, taking a glance at others, she thinks, maybe the gazes that I felt weren't actually something negative. Now it struck her. I don't know, but she thinks again, nah, I can't help but think they hate me. Cold face again, she thinks, things don't seem to have gotten worse though. Well, whatever. The school bell rings. Shake, shake. Later in the house, Shouya seems to be relaxing on his sofa, saying, the draft of my entire life has been sent to my editor, and my exciting free time begins until he gets back to me. He turns his head to Umi and asks, what are you reading, Umi-chan? That's quite an unexpected choice. I'm at volume 8, she says while showing this one. And Fitz says, I talked to someone who knew about this manga. She really recommended volume 8, so I got curious and kept reading it. Goodness gracious, Shouya exclaims. That friend of yours has got some good taste. On which she was totally embarrassed. She yells, she's a classmate. I hope you will have more things to talk about than just manga soon, he replies. She tries to speak. I don't REA. Shouya turns his head to her. In his eyes, she turns her head and says, well, thanks. I also hope your draft will go through without problems. Heart clenched. Let's all pray for me. I mean it. And the sound echoes in the house. Waha. The next day, anyone want ice cream? It's vanilla. Shouya asked, how many, please? Dad would like some too, his dad says, raising his hand. Coming right up, he says while tapping on a phone. Umi thinks, this song feels like I heard it a lot recently. Oh. And she looks at a pop idol who has a clear resemblance to Shouya. Just about he was going to take out the ice cream, Umi exclaims, Shou-chan? What? Shou-chan is here. Okowo. Shouya sets wandering. Someone who is on the TV. Then suddenly the screen shifts. A car's door was opening and she in a total bloom seems saying, hey. Huh. What's that about? He wonders, his dad says. Looks like you didn't make it in time, Shou-chan. And he fails to make his ice cream too. Wait, well my bad I guess. Not sure why, but okay. And he goes to Umi saying, Shou-chan's here for an ice cream delivery. She replies, thanks. Later in school, she thinks to herself, I wonder who the person in the commercial was. He really looked like Shou-chan also, I think. I should have tried to learn the group names at least. Oh, morning, Sayama-san. The girl from yesterday waves her hand, looking at her. Morning. You three come to school together? She replies. Yep, quite often. We went to the same middle school, and we all take the same road home. Morning, Sayama-san. Morning. The other two girls also try to speak to her. Morning, Ogura-san, Oya-san, she replies, which makes both of them utterly shocked. Oh, don't worry about them, it's fine. Come on, let's get to class. While walking together, she thinks to herself, I didn't think we'd end up walking like this together. Can't remember the last time I did this. What do people usually talk about in this case? I wonder if Oya-san also reads manga? Gotta find a topic. Well, looking at Hoya-san, she notices a keychain on her bag. About to just ask that, but in total nervousness, she exclaims. Umi still asked, who's the guy on that keychain? She replies, keychain of, we'll take a look at her bag, she says. He's Ryo from Jean Kana, stands him. You also like Jean, Sayama-san? She replies, no, rather than Jean, was it? This person caught my eye, making all three of them twitch at once. That's why I wanted to. But without continuing, Oya-san glared at Umi with a furious face, turns around and says, I'll head over first. Two starts apologizing. Sorry, Sayama-san. Kana's real delulu about Ryo. Should have started with that. Umi wonders about all that. but she doesn't understand the meaning of Delia on the web for its meaning, and when she gets the result, she was shocked. She's in love with Rio, with Shou-chan's look-alike. Jean, I heard of them, Shouya says later at the house. I didn't see the whole thing, but I caught a glimpse of the audition. I think you can still see the show if you look. Shou-chan, you sure know a lot about what's trending, she says. No more than your average Joe. I just need to be on the lookout for new ideas for my manga. So approaches near the TV and sticks her face close to the screen, staring at it, making sure. Wonder, he says. We kindly ask the audience to sit back and relax. Well, could it be that she found someone to stand? Hum. But suddenly her voice comes, yesterday, when I called your name, I thought that this guy kind of looked like you. He was pointing towards Rio. Do I look like you? He was astonished from his compliment. He imagines that guy all sparkly, totally handsome. An up-and-coming boy group, the announcer says. Such a handsome guy in your eyes. She replies, or so I thought, but I was mistaken now that I gave him a proper look. Making sure, totally disappointed. He says, Omi-chan, you could have let me dream a little longer, you know? She gasped. I didn't deny the handsome part, did I? True. Thank you, he replies. But now I see. I was sure you found a newborn interest in this kind of idol group. She says, well, it's not like I have no interest at all. One of my classmates said she likes them, and I also think they are cool. Classmate declares, okay, let me ask you then, how would you feel being on the other side? Other side, she replies, on which he says, auditioning to be an idol. You're bound to become popular, right? There's been a lot of hype around these things recently. She replies with a totally weird face. What? It never ever crossed my mind. Do you want to be a popular Shou-chan? Of course, he says with a straight face. She totally shocked thinks. How can he look at me with such innocent eyes while saying that? I don't like being the center of everyone's attention, much less having people cheer for me. For real, you are so cool, Umi-chan, she replies. My mom always nags me when it comes to relationships with the opposite gender too. Shouya remembers, right? Didn't she stare daggers at me when she paid us a visit right before Umi moved in? I know I'm asking a lot of you and trust you, Shouya-kun, but you catch my drift, right? Her mother says with a menacing smile. He replies, I'm not so stupid as to lay my hands on a minor, ma'am. She was so scary, he thinks that he tells Umi. But I can't say I don't get where your mom's coming from, you know? I'm sure you're popular, right? Popo, I have no friends, she asked with a totally cold look. I'm sorry, okay? Your eyes are totally cold, he says. Just to be sure, you're not being bullied, right? I said I'm fine. They're not even doing anything to me. They just keep averting their eyes for some reason, she replies. She glares at him with a cute face, bold eyes. Her face sparkling, the light of total beauty. He properly stares at Umi and says, it's not like I can't see why they would. Yeah. What do you mean? She asks. Meanwhile, thinking too close. She's probably so pretty they can't even approach her. He thinks to himself, a true flower beyond everyone's reach. A dazzling girl. Come on, what is it that you can't not see? She asks. It might be the fact that you are cute, Omi-chan. He says. Her face blushes. At Shouya for once flips her head. What? He shouts in total fear. And he continued speaking while walking away. Well, you also have to consider other factors like your personality, attitude, and other things, not just your cuteness. I guess that's the kind of world we live in. Faces while flap, flipping his sweats away. Juice in a glass, he says, same goes for Rio, the one who caught your attention. He went to many auditions just like this one and had many setbacks. But he kept at it, not wanting to give up on his dream, and he finally made his debut with Jean. Or so he says. That being overcome with emotion thing. He says he bawled his eyes out when he heard the result. Want to see it? Yeah, she replies. You know, there's this classmate who loves Jean. She's delulu about Rio, it seems. That's way too. Can't even imagine how many rivals she has. We can't really blame her for falling in love with such a hardworking guy. Right, he says. I'm not sure what it really means to fall in love with someone that you only know through a screen, she thinks. But wanted to support someone who's really giving it their all. That's a feeling I can relate to. And the speaker on the TV announces, the last member is Rio. Clap, clap, clap. Rio was getting his award and all. She stares. Ah. The next day, she approaches a girl saying, Morning. She looks at her and says, What? She replies, Just a morning greeting. Well, okay, sure, the other girl said. If you're looking for Hirojin, she went to the bathroom, so that's so. Anyway, she replies, I have business with you. Okay, Oya-san, which made her quiver in fear. She thinks she's angry. Of course she would be. I'd be angry as well if someone I barely know lashed out at me like I did. The other girls were looking from outside the window. She thinks to herself, Hirochin, Oga-chan help. He'd show her thumbs up. They both smiled and nodded their head as if they were saying, You reap what you sow. I actually got to see a bit of Jean's audition. Rio was very cool. She started thinking, it's no good again. I am gonna. She speaks, that's. I was here way before you, Sona-san. And cutting her off, Umi says, However, I'd rather stand Aki if I had to choose someone, which made her totally shocked. Huh, so we weren't on the same team. I just asked about Rio, because I think he looked like someone I know, she replied. I realized there's nothing alike, though. Obvious, she replies. Because Rio is the coolest in the whole world, after all. Umi glares at her. She thinks to herself, Shou-chan also has plenty of good points, though. Suddenly, the other girl appears from behind, saying, But doesn't that mean there's someone close to you who looks just like Rio? Sama-san, that really scared me. Umi replies, Ah, you traitor, the other girl said. Shut it. The existence of the hot guy is a more pressing matter, she says while ruffling the short-haired girl's head. What I wouldn't give to see you two side by side, Sama-san. I'm really sorry, but Aya-chan can't help but be honest about her desires, she asks. And what kind of desires is that exactly? Also, Kana-chan, did you properly tell Sayama-chan? Kana looks at Umi and says, I'm sorry for treating you so coldly. I didn't mean it. When it comes to the person you love, you want to be the #1 supporter, right? Hearing that, Kana looks at Sayama with really bright eyes, she thinks. She was such a nice person, which made her other friends shocked. Wait. Kana continues, I don't mind talking for hours if we're on different teams. Umi-chan, she speaks while holding her hands. That's no way to close the distance, girl, the other girl says. And don't take advantage of the situation to grab a hand like that. Please calm down, she replied. What's the harm? Meanwhile, Umi gets a flashback of her conversation with Shouya. That friend of yours has good taste. I hope you'll have more things to talk about than just manga soon. Is this what it means to be friends? She asks them. Up until now, I've hardly had anyone that I could talk to so casually, so I'm not too sure. Only speaks. Then again, making everyone silent and tweak. They reach their hands to her shoulder. Sekana-san. She burst. The four of us are already friends. Got it. Ah, the pressure, Umi thinks. Then they asked, say, how did you come to know our names? That really surprised me, you know. Why, you ask, she replies. I mean, we've barely talked to each other until just recently, right? It caught us off guard. What's with that impression of me? She thinks, who do you take me for? Of course, I'd remember the name of all my classmates. She says, huh? Why did I wait so long to call out to you then? The girl exclaims. So that's what it was. A violent tremor shook the entire class. She feels somewhat different than usual. What made you choose Aki over everyone else? One girl asks. All the candidates were handsome and hardworking, right? What was the deciding factor? She says, I guess, remembers the total screen and all, and notices the back of a person on the screen. And she suddenly says, his unbleached roots caught my eyes. Those aren't unbleached roots. It's amber, okay. An oblivious Umi, always on the lookout for Shouya's good qualities.